scared. I'm just like, what? I'm a mess. I got my sprained ankle.
That's the whole point of this fight. It creates conversation, barbershop conversations, taxi conversations, airplane conversations, and that's what we want. The more people talking about the fight.
Arena shifted from a roar of cheers to a stunned silence, and back again within a handful of heart-pounding exchanges. Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul was framed as a collision of eras, a decorated heavyweight seeking reassertion, and a social media-born fighter who spent years turning spectacle into earned credibility. When the final bell sounded, the internet erupted. Highlights flew hot, takes clashed, and analysts dissected every frame. Hours later, both men spoke measured yet defiant. The night proved larger than any single verdict, marking a moment that reshaped perception debate and the sports conversation moving forward for years to come worldwide.
End of the day, I'm a kid with a big heart that wants to change the world, disruptor, and I never took no for an answer, and I'm just chasing my dreams, having fun, and living the American dream, really. It's a testament to hard work and every single day dedicating yourself to a craft, pushing through when you don't want to be there, and it all pays off in the long run, and believing in yourself, setting goals that people think are impossible. That's really what my story is all about.
Distinct quiet that settles after a major boxing night. Not true silence, but a suspended moment before order slowly returns to chaos. Trainers monitored vitals, doctors completed their checks, and both camps disappeared behind closed doors. When statements finally emerged, they felt personal and unfiltered. There were admissions of exhaustion, praise, edged with bitterness, and controlled intensity only fighters truly know. Joshua's first words sounded like a man taking inventory of the battle. Missed angles, drifting rounds, and brief moments destined to be replayed and debated for years. Paul's response balanced bravado with bone-deep candor, reflecting on the emotional storm of the fight, the isolation, the noise, and the relentless judgment that shadows every dispute exchange. Despite different paths and perspectives, both fighters underlined the same truth: respect for the occasion, gratitude toward the crowd, and a shared desire to let the night settle into memory before it was reduced to a single line on a scorecard.
He has a very side-on stance, tries to practice the Philly shell, and I think Jake has a chance that is slim to none.
I appreciate it.
All good?
Thanks, well done.
Thank you very much.
See you guys.
Yeah. Heavyweight of the world!
Yeah, I can get my back. No. For the first week of sparring, I had to get comfortable in there and let things slow down and feel the power out and get the confidence to slip, catch, move.
In the build-up to the clash, predictions flooded every corner of the sport, and they were sharply divided. Odds makers and many mainstream analysts positioned Anthony Joshua as the clear favorite, listing him as the expected winner across most betting markets. That outlook was echoed by respected media outlets and betting boards, reinforcing the belief that Joshua's experience and pedigree would tell the story. From an analytical standpoint, CBS Sports and Sportsline combat expert Josh Nagel leaned firmly toward Joshua. Nagel's top prop plays even included Joshua winning by TKO or KO, a nod to his resume against elite competition and his proven finishing power. Yahoo Sports coverage followed a similar line, with analysts suggesting Joshua was the most likely man to end the fight early. They pointed not only to his power, but also to how the scale of the event and referee dynamics could subtly favor a seasoned heavyweight accustomed to high-pressure moments. Still, the narrative was far from unanimous. Boxing's louder voices and several high-profile fighters offered contrarian takes that kept intrigue alive. Tyson Fury, never hesitant to stir conversation, publicly suggested Jake Paul could land the kind of punch that flips everything on its head. He even claimed he would bet heavily on Paul in a hypothetical scenario statement that fueled the idea that chaos was not just possible, but plausible. Dana White added another layer with his trademark bluntness. While skeptical of crossover hype, he acknowledged Paul's willingness to step into genuine heavyweight danger. It was a reminder that even the sport's most guarded gatekeepers were watching, closely evaluating, and occasionally being forced to reassess their assumptions. Then there were fighters themselves. Jake Paul, consistent in his mission to challenge boxing's hierarchy, predicted victory without hesitation. He publicly insisted that Anthony Joshua could not knock him out, repeating that confidence across media appearances, including shows like the Pat McAfee show. Those declarations amplified pre-fight tension and sharpened the storyline. That contrast in predictions elevated the event. When analytical heavyweights back the favorite and credible voices believe in the underdog, every round carries cinematic weight. Each exchange feels like it could validate years of experience or upend them in seconds. After the fight, the pundit class did what it always does. Some walked back earlier, takes others doubled down, and many highlighted moments that caught them off guard. Several former champions and active fighters admitted they had misread the tempo and rhythm. Others treated the bout as a teaching moment. Amir Khan, for example, spoke about the type of strike that can halt influencer boxing, praising Joshua's ability to impose traditional knockout power and discipline on a modern spectacle. Across social media, fighters dissected technical adjustments, ring control, and brief stretches where crowd energy shifted momentum in unexpected ways. What stood out most was the honesty. Few tried to hide being wrong. Instead, many used the fight to talk craft. How to prepare for a social media-born fighter who has sharpened timing against seasoned fringe professionals, and how a veteran like Joshua must manage not only physical threats, but narrative ones too, the kind that can influence officials, broadcasters, and momentum itself.
Well, it's very tough to say something about Joshua or Jake. You know, I'm waiting for this fight because I'm so excited. But, you know, Jake have a lot of chance to win, and a lot of people think he not, but I believe in Jake. I mean, Joshua is the best fighter and have a lot of experience in boxing. You know, he's a heavyweight guy, but Jake improved a lot, and the people need to respect both, you know, because it's not everybody have a, sorry my language, but have a balls for come inside the ring.
Opening bell, the tone was immediate and kinetic. Early flurries hinted that Paul's awkward aggressive angles could find their way through, while other stretches unfolded like a heavyweight textbook measured distance, control steady jabs, and heavy power shots layered with intent. Moments that looked ordinary on a freeze frame felt seismic in real time. A short uppercut that made the entire arena inhale. A brief stumble that quietly shifted the balance of an entire round. In the aftermath, both fighters spoke with respect about those pivotal exchanges. Joshua's camp emphasized the effectiveness of the jab and the structure of his power combinations. Paul's team highlighted scrappy infighting and a level of ring confidence that defied his unconventional path into boxing's brightest spotlight. What both sides kept returning to was what the fight demanded from each man: fresh respect, lingering doubt, and a growing gallery of what if the ring was where the fight took place. Social media was where it lived on. A single clean collision, or near fall, became the night's shared language. Clips looped endlessly, dissected frame by pundits, celebrities, and casual fans alike. Memes transformed fleeting expressions into endless debate, and every replay fueled another interpretation. Both fighters leaned into that digital afterlife. Raw, unpolished clips released from dressing rooms and medical corridors pulled fans behind the curtain. The effect was immediate, humanizing, and monetizing in the same breath. That confessional, post-fight content convinced viewers they were witnessing something authentic, not a carefully managed narrative. Meanwhile, trainers from both camps spoke like surgeons. Joshua's corner pointed to moments of missed range control and the importance of maintaining a high guard against unconventional angles. Paul's team praised conditioning and resolve, while acknowledging tactical blind spots when facing an opponent with Joshua's precision and shot selection. The shared language was one of learning. There was no grandstanding, no excuses, just clinical breakdowns of why rounds tilted, how pace disrupted game plans, and what adjustments could be made. Those comments sounded less like headlines and more like homework destined to shape the fighter's next training cycles.
Those big discrepancy in skill. Sometimes the better fighter carries the other fighter, or maybe goes a little easier. Is there any part of you that maybe thinks that way, or are you going in there 100%?
Zero part of me. And it's not even that it's Jake. It's just, do you know, I was actually looking at myself today. I'm a very respectful guy, brought up by a good family, but if I can kill you, I will kill you. That's just how I am. and this is just a job.
This fight moved serious commercial needles. Betting markets shifted during the bout and throughout the post-fight weekend, while pay-per-view numbers were scrutinized and promoters quietly circled rematch possibilities. Outlets like CBS and other betting analysts rolled out live prop bets and adjusted lines in real time, underscoring how modern boxing now operates as both sport and data-driven entertainment. Executives and broadcasters will be tracking rewatch figures and subscription spikes for weeks. Nights fueled by drama like this become currency. They bankroll future cards, convert casual viewers, and can reshape a fighter's market value overnight. If analysts debated technique, fans argued meaning. Social feeds filled with confessions and declarations of loyalty. Longtime boxing purists voiced frustration with spectacle, while younger audiences embraced the collision of content and craft. Neutral viewers admitted they were drawn into the theater of the event despite initial skepticism. Across perspectives, a shared feeling emerged. This was a moment people wanted to say they experienced in real time. Both fighters acknowledged that reality in separate messages, thanking fans for showing up and paying attention. Win or lose, they emphasize the spectacle only exists because an audience invests emotionally and financially. Talk of a rematch started in the stands and never fully faded. For promoters, the logic is simple. Controversy fuels commerce, and unresolved questions sell tickets. Publicly, both camps remain deliberately non-committal, a familiar negotiating posture that preserves leverage while allowing the market to signal its appetite for another meeting. In boxing circles, the rule is clear. When a fight creates more questions than answers, a return becomes hard to avoid. Both men left that door open, signaling the story is far from finished. Notably, both camps also stress health in their post-fight remarks. Language around monitoring, precautionary checks, and recovery to priority. Those reminders cooled some of the more fevered online speculation and redirected attention toward long-term welfare. Beneath the narratives and numbers, the physical cost of the sport was acknowledged plainly and responsibly. Fights like this recalibrate reputations. For Anthony Joshua, the night becomes another chapter in a career that already spans championships, setbacks, and public reinvention. For Jake Paul, it stands as a high-stakes validation or refutation of a path built on attention and increasingly serious ring results. Both use the word legacy, though in different ways. One spoke of it as a long arc shaped over years. The other framed it as immediate work still unfolding that on one point, they appeared aligned. Legacy is built on response. How each man reacts in the weeks and months ahead through training, public engagement, and future fights may matter more than any single verdict. By the end of the night, both spoke with humility tempered by resolve. They thanked their teams, acknowledged pain and disappointment in equal measure, and made the same
Bonus. So for me, I'm not worried about what people think about the integrity side. I'm more worried about, are they talking? And as
the deliberate human gamble and the clash between Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul won't fade quickly. It will be replayed, debated, studied in gyms, and argued over by pundits for years. What stood out in the immediate aftermath was how both fighters framed it. They spoke less about the verdict and more about the price paid and the value gained, hard lessons, earned respect, and momentum to shape whatever comes next.